Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon private label and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy. Today, we bring you a very special guest. His name is Yoni Mazor. He's the co-founder and CEO of GETIDA, which are actually the leaders when it comes to Amazon FBA auditing and reimbursements. Because of that, today's topic is going to be how to get your reimbursement from Amazon and how to be efficient with that process. Now, without any further delay, Johnny, let me introduce you. How you doing today?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me, Vincenzo. It's great to be here, and I hope everybody else is doing, great as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a pleasure to have you here. I have seen a lot of your content out there in all the social media platforms, so it was definitely a must to have you today. And I know you have a lot of experience in the e-commerce space, Amazon, everything that has to do with reimbursement. So it's going to be very nice to touch those topics today. But again, before I usually like to jump into the topics, I think it's very important for me as a presenter of this podcast to always give to my audience an introduction of who the person is, the guest, in terms of the background, how they got started, what are they doing with their company. So it would be nice if you can touch base on that and we can go from there. Yeah.
You got it, yeah. So currently, the chief growth officer, CGO of GETIDA, and also one of the co-founders. In terms of e-commerce, I guess it's more relevant for the listeners. GETIDA was actually born from our activity. We'll get to GETIDA later on, but GETIDA was born from our activity as sellers, on Amazon sellers, actually. So about a decade ago, we started selling product online. Back in the day, eBay was the main platform for us. But then in 2013, we started selling on Amazon, and the business grew very quickly from 0 to 20 million in FBA sales. And then we became a part of a larger group that together as a group, we were doing about 100 million in FBA revenue. And what happened was we constantly had all these discrepancies, in inventory. Our inventory used to get lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared. And we had so much data, so we couldn't use spreadsheets anymore. Right, so
Yeah.
that basically kind of pushed us to create technology and software to keep on finding all these issues that's happening to us, but also develop a team that only focuses on that data and helps manage all the issues with Amazon. And so we created a solution for ourselves. It worked pretty well. We told our friends from the industry that we have these capabilities, so they told us, "Help us, we'll pay you." And that was the early genesis and creation of GETIDA back in 2015. And because the model is very comfortable, it's free to join GETIDA. It
Yes.
doesn't cost anything, and it's free to stay with GETIDA. We only charge a fee based on performance. So over the years, it was just growing organically. So after all these years, we said, let's just cash out of retail and focus just on helping Amazon sellers with GETIDA. And really, from that moment on, we kind of we grew really fast, and I would say we pretty much took leadership in this little niche called Amazon FBA auditing and reimbursement. So that's where I'm today, and that's kind of how I got here, as they say.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. To be honest, it's very curious to see that I see a lot of the time all the great tools out there. Usually, the beginning is because they had an issue within the company, like yourself. You had an e-commerce business, you didn't have a software solution out there, and it's amazing to see how it went from being just an in-house an idea to now being a global organization that has so many Amazon businesses. And I think that's great because to be honest, is as you mentioned, it's such a small niche, and at the same time something that is so important for your Amazon business, but a lot of people don't take into consideration because I mean we're gonna dig deeper into all the fees you can save and things like that. But it's amazing that just now with services such as GETIDA, you can just plug your business in and you could be saving thousands and thousands in terms of a budget that you could be using to scale your business, right?
Yeah, the cash flow can, in other words, part of the magic of what we do is that sellers are able to get money that they never expected to have anyways. And
Yeah.
hopefully, if they take that money, they're going to reinvest it into the Amazon business. They can afford to, bid more on the PPC, or they can source the next product, or whatever it is that they need to do with the money, because at the end of the day, money is pretty useful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's free money at the end of the day. It's money that you didn't know you had, and now you have it, right?
Yeah, we enable it. We kind of unlock it. That's kind of the mission and the focus that we have.
That's great. So now let's start touching so we can give an introduction around what are the type of reimbursements before we dig more into the details of everything. So can you briefly touch on what are the type of reimbursement a typical Amazon seller will get from Amazon in terms of things Amazon does wrong, and they should be getting a refund for that.
You got it. You got it. Just before I dump into the elements of those, I want to step back a little bit just to make sure that everything's very
Sure,
clear.
100%.
So when you sell on Amazon, yeah, I'm gonna go very basic just to make sure everybody's on the same page. When you sell on Amazon, logistically you have two options. You have your own warehouse. When the orders come in from Amazon, you fulfill your own orders. We cannot help you there. It's called FBM, fulfilled by merchant. Also, it's called MFN, merchant fulfilled network. We don't touch that. The other option sellers have is take their inventory and ship it from from their factory or from their warehouse to Amazon's fulfillment centers. Amazon will store the inventory, receive it, they will store it, and then they're going to fulfill the orders as they come in. So it's called FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. That's the world where we live in, GETIDA. So typically what happens is, Vincenzo, is if you connect to GETIDA, you're an Amazon seller, you connect your Amazon account to GETIDA, our technology is able to go back up to 18 months on all the transactions,
Mm.
right? So any of the inventory that gets lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, disposed, our technology catches it. But then our team gets the information and they manage all the issues with Amazon until there's a resolution. Now let's touch the brackets. So it starts from the basics. You want to, right? The first step is you send your products to Amazon, your inventory,
Yeah,
right? You ship
correct.
1,000 units to Amazon's fulfillment center, and Amazon, instead of receiving 1,000 units, they only receive 990 units. So 10 units are missing. Our technology catches the issue, and then our team will open a case with Amazon and present the information to them. And then if Amazon finds the missing 10 units, that's great. Now you can sell it, make the money, no harm done. It's all good. If they don't, what they're going to do is they have a policy called FBA reimbursement policy, and if those missing 10 units are eligible for reimbursement, they're going to activate it and they're going to pay you. So this is the FBA inbound receiving. When this is the basic of all basics, this is just you sending their products to Amazon. So now this changes. It used to be you have 18 months to do it, then 9 months, then 6 months, and recently they send it again to 9 months. So right now, as of today's date, you have about 9 months to reconcile all the shipments you ship to Amazon. Okay, so
Okay.
that's the first issue. Another so more issues happen when the inventory is inside Amazon's fulfillment centers, inside
Hmm.
the warehouse. That's sellers are not aware of this. They think, okay, only I gotta check the inventory that I ship. That's fine, but you also have to check the inventory that's inside. It's already there, because once it's inside Amazon's fulfillment centers, inside they tend to get the units get tend to get lost, damaged, destroyed, and disappear. But also between the centers, sometimes Amazon will shift your products from place A to place B. Let's say
Yeah,
you're in the UK, Vincenzo, right? So they might shift your products from Liverpool to Nottingham. Is there
yeah,
Nottingham? I don't know if there's a town
yeah.
like that.
Nothing, huh? Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing, huh?
I'm
Yeah.
trying to my British geography. So same things happen there. Units get lost, damaged, destroyed, or disappeared. Also from the fulfillment centers to the consumers, as the orders come in, same things. Consumers back to Amazon with all the refunds and returns, same things. Also from the fulfillment centers to the sellers, if you do a removal order, the same thing. So all these logistical friction points with FBA, that's where our technology comes in and checks. And for the most part, you have about 18 months to look back. 18 months, a year and a half. So if you plug in today, you have almost two Christmases that you can check, right? Because we're on the cutoff dates of the past 18 months. So all these issues, you got 18 months. I don't want to overcomplicate. So you had 9 months, 18
Yeah.
months. Now I'm gonna give an example where you only have 90 days, which is 3 months.
Okay.
So 90 days is when Amazon financially overcharges you with fees. So let's say
Okay.
your product is 6 ounces and 6 inches, and they're supposed to charge you $3.50 every time you sold a unit, right? When they pick it from the bin, they pick it in a box and they fulfill and they ship it out, called a pick and pack fee or fulfillment
Yeah.
fee. They're supposed to charge you $3.50, but instead their information is incorrect. Instead of 6 inches, it's 60 inches. Instead of 6 ounces, it's 6 pounds. So now they're
Yeah.
charging you $10 per unit. So they're
Yeah.
overcharging you financially $6.50 every time you sold a unit. You sold 1,000 units, that's $6,500 that they overcharge you. So if you find that issue, you have 90 days to go back. So
Okay.
I encourage the sellers. You never heard of this. You don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
Two options. You can. There's service providers out there that can help with this. GETIDA, it happens to be one of them. We'll be happy to help you. But of course, you can do it yourself. And if you do it yourself, make sure you do it every 3 months, because if you don't, you might lose out on a lot. I'll give you an example. If you only do this audit once a year, and throughout the year they overcharge you $10,000, but in the last 90 days they only charge you $30,000, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get 30,000. The 70,000 is gone forever.
Forever.
So
Yeah.
part of the opportunity to fix the problem is being aware of it and doing something about it in the right time frame. So as we showed, you got 90 days, 9 months, and 18 months. That's high level, the main brackets that you have for auditing.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, just now that you explained just the high level, it seems like a lot of things to handle. Sometimes for a person, it can get very complicated handling so many dates, so many marketplaces, so many reports, and that's why I wanted to make a quick question on that. Is like, do you have any tip for somebody getting started on Amazon? Like some high level basic strategy they can do to maybe start checking this on their accounts to see if they can save a few dollars in things that Amazon could be doing wrong on
Yeah,
that
yeah, I'll
perspective.
give as far as I can. I'll bring the ability of whoever's watching this or listening to this to do it themselves. I'll give you the fundamentals. So hopefully,
Yeah.
just by listening to this, you'll make some money, pretty much guaranteed. So
That's great.
let's start. Let's start. So when you ship your products to Amazon, FBA inbound, shipping receiving, it's pretty straightforward. You got to go to Amazon Sell Essential. You got to go to inventory, manage FBA shipments, and over there you just scroll down the page and see. Okay, I shipped 1,000. They only got 990. Open that shipment and you'll see all the information there of all the missing units, and then you should be able to click on research and submit, and Amazon will start investigating. So, but keep in mind that's not the end of the story. If they find out that it's missing, they pay you. That's great, but they also might ask you for documents. That's when things become even more fun and exciting, complicated.
Yeah, the complex thing.
Right. So high level, the two types of documents they can ask you for potentially. One of them is POD, proof of delivery. The other one is they call it POO, POO, proof of
Yeah,
ownership. Proof
yeah,
of ownership. Another. There's two options. It can be an invoice or it can be a packing slip. So if you have all these documentations ready and you give it to them, you'll be able to reconcile these shipments. And if they find it, great. And if they don't, and you're eligible, they'll pay you the reimbursement, and it's great. So once again, Amazon Seller Central, inventory, manage FBA shipments, find the shipments that are missing units, click it, and there's an area called reconcile, and see what's going on over there. If you never heard of it, you never did it, now you can. And you can go
yeah.
9 months, all the shipments you did 9 months. 9 months ago, there was still Christmas, the Q4. So if you
That's
did
a
a lot of
lot.
inventory, yeah, if you shipped a lot of inventory, hopefully you're going to reconcile a few of these shipments and make a few hundred or maybe a few $1,000s, depending on the pricing that you have per your units and how many of them will
Yeah,
be missing. So boom, that's it. You guys have it. That's one of it. Another one is let's do the fulfillment fees. Pretty
yeah,
much, you go to Amazon Sell Essential, you go to fulfillment. It says over there fulfillment, and then there's an area called. Sorry, let's go back. You go to Amazon Sell Essential. There's reports
yeah,
right on the top or the on the left, depends on the because they have a new face. They have a
yeah.
new front end.
Different dashboards. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So, but same wording. So reports, and inside reports you got to go fulfillment, and on the left side you're gonna see fulfillment fees. That's where you gotta check the fulfillment fees, and based on these fulfillment fees, you'll be able to see the ASINs per ASIN, how much they're charging you per ASIN, and you can have your ASINs on a different spreadsheet and see what the weight and dimensions is actually, what it
Matching.
actually is. Yeah. So you got to check. You got to take an ASIN, see what Amazon thinks the weight and dimensions are, and what are the dimensions of what are the dimensions that that it is because you're the brand owner, right? For anybody listening
Yes,
to this is for private label, right? That's when you cross and match it. So when you see a mathematical discrepancy, you open a case with Amazon. I think there's even when you open the cases, there's an option for that. You got to remeasure. You can ask them to
that's
remeasure,
correct.
and when they remeasure, they fix it. And then you can also, after they remeasure, you can tell them, hey, you overcharge me. You got to do a little bit of mathematics, how much they overcharge you, and boom, that's the second one. I'll tell you this: it's not the funnest thing to do all these things. It's
Yes,
not
that's right.
exciting.
It's complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's mathematical. And the reality is, it's always looking backwards. So we
yeah.
live in the GETIDA. We live in the world. We always live in the past and check what's going on, like archaeology, where the sellers is very hard for them. We see over the years. We're doing this for about 7 years. It's very hard because the seller always wants to look forward, right? What's the next
For
product
sure.
launch? What's the next PPC campaign? The keyword, the bidding. That's what makes the business. And they're right. That's where their focus should be. Looking back is like stop the whole machine. I want to look back a little bit. It's very tough mentally also and also organizationally. So that's what we see. The partnership is pretty well. It goes pretty good. You focus on the future. What creates the business? We always do the past like archaeologists. We come up with our toothbrushes. We brush the sand and the dust, and we find a gold coin. We put it back in your pocket, and only if we're successful, rewarded.
Correct.
Because we only charge a fee from recovery. We charge 20%. So that, so if you see from all the explanations that I gave you, get it. Okay, we can help you. So I don't want to
Yeah.
over.
I mean that's why, to be honest, why I love GETIDA is because it's not just a software solution, it's actually a whole ecosystem. So it's something that you plug into your business and you have the sort of things that also have something that actually wanted to sometimes even as if you can explain
Yeah, just clarify. We're not going to solution that do the effect with PWS credentials and listed you. Same thing like just the bids and stuff like that, and same thing on the FBA auditing side of things. That's how you connect to GETIDA. And when you connect to GETIDA, so automatically what our technology is going to find the issues that happens. That's the software. But then all the discrepancies, all the problems that we find, our team will get that information. A big part of our team are former Amazon employees who used to work in the Amazon FBA reimbursements department. So we know what we're looking for, how to present the issues, and how to manage all the back and forth. And they're going to open the cases with Amazon and really manage the whole thing through. So that gets done. Um, and also, when you connect to GETIDA, you have access to our dashboard. We
yeah.
actually won the gold award from the American Business Awards for that dashboard technology,
That's
because
amazing.
you get real time visibility of what's going on. Because behind the scene, there's a whole army of people working for you, but all that work is translated on the dashboard in real time. That's kind of the
That's
innovation point
amazing.
there. So you can always log into the dashboard, see everything that's going on, the cases that we open, what's the status of each case, did it get paid, did it get rejected, is it still pending, all in real time. So we do all the heavy lifting. But there's two more modules or tools that we have in the system where if the sellers want, they can provide more data, and if they do, we're going to be able to recover even more. Because our
I
mission
see.
again is, yeah, our mission is to get them to maximum. So whatever we can already get for them without their involvement, we'll do it, and that's a lot, right? But of
Yeah.
course, there's a few data points. If you give it to us, we're able to even get you more. One of them is, like I mentioned earlier, the weight and dimensions. If you give
Yeah.
us the weight and dimensions, we're always going to be on the lookout for you. So if any times there's a change and Amazon starts to overcharge you, we're gonna accomplish two things for you. We're gonna present the information to Amazon and update it. So hopefully Amazon will stop overcharging you, and that's a major win for you, right? Because going forward, they're going to save all that money that they would overcharge. We don't charge a fee for that. That's just pure value. And of course, we'll go back 90 days for whatever they charge you. We're going to get that for you. So if you could give us, you're able, you could put it in there on the dashboard. Or if you have a lot of ASINs, you could do an export with an Excel file and provide
Yeah.
us all the weight and dimensions of your ASINs. So we're going to be your watch guard. Anytime there's a change, we got it. So,
That's
and
amazing.
because yeah, we cannot if you don't give us the data, we cannot determine the data. We're
Yeah.
not, yeah. So that's what we need.
100%.
Yeah, the seller self. Sometimes you'll be surprised. So yeah, you should know. You should know. I don't know. We
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, we have billions of products that we can, or millions of products, or a lot of ASINs that we look after, but we're not the ones to determine the weight and dimensions. And also keep in mind, guys, whoever's listening, weight and dimensions from time to time can change. Sometimes you can change your packaging. All of a sudden it's bigger, larger, smaller. So even if you did the first time, you gave us the data and then you changed it, you should also go back to GETIDA and update that. So
Yeah.
everything's very accurate, especially if you made it smaller and less heavier. It's an opportunity for you to save money with fees. So boom, let us know, and going forward, you'll get that savings.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Another module is what we call FBA inbound shipments.
Yeah.
Over there, you're able to give us all the documentation I mentioned earlier. You can give us the proof of delivery. You can give us
Hmm.
the POO, the proof of ownership, and things of that nature. If you give us that, we'll be able to reconcile those shipments that need that attention. And that's pretty much it, high level.
That's great, man. That's great. And thank you for the explanation. Very, very in depth. So I know that when it comes to reimbursement, sometimes this is a question also of mine and for the general public. Is there any type of reimbursement that you feel that sometimes is tricky to get in terms of maybe the documentation that you need to provide, or maybe sometimes Amazon asks too many things that most sellers don't have? So can you briefly touch on maybe what are some of the complications you might encounter when it comes to issuing your reimbursement?
So I want to put into two worlds: the world where the
Sure.
sellers try to handle it, well, that's when they struggle, and the world that we live in. Because this is the world we live in, and this is the only thing we know,
Yeah.
it's second nature to us. So it becomes very
Yeah.
simple.
For sure.
So and that's the magic that we bring, the ability to deal with it in a very simple way. because it's our specialty. I always joke about it. I say this is all we know how to do. If you talk to me about sports, I know nothing. But if
Yeah,
you talk to me about FB auditing and reimbursements, I can talk all day. So for us, it's second
100%.
nature. So on our side, we have passion for it, and it's easy for us. On the seller side of things, I can see a struggle in almost any element, because who has time for this? I don't even know what they want from me. You know, that's just auditing and reimbursements. Let's talk about advertising, PPC.
Yeah,
There's so much to know, so much to do. Let's talk about
so many.
sourcing. Let's talk about hiring. Let's talk about listing optimization. Instead, there's so much to know. Just an example, and so much nuance in Amazon. This is just one of those things. So the struggle point in all these elements I give, especially and also and including Amazon FB auditing and reimbursement. So you have to understand what documents they want, what's the name of this document, how they want it, when did they want it. You got 90 days, 9 months. So I could go on and on, but the idea is I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah,
There's a struggle in almost element. Depends on the seller, your status, your ability to how much can you handle, right? The sellers,
yeah,
right?
which is
They,
difficult. I mean, so many things. It's
yeah,
crazy
I see
sometimes.
amazing sellers. They have it's I never saw the one seller, one individual, a man or a lady that was able to do everything. It just
No, it's
and
not
it go
possible.
very big, very high. Maybe you could do 50,000 a year, 100,000, maybe
Yeah,
even scratch a million on your own. I haven't seen those, but
yeah,
maybe. But at some point, you're gonna have
but
to get
that's
help.
it.
You're gonna have to get VAs, agency, whatever it is.
Yeah,
How much more can you absorb and handle? It's just impossible. So as you grow along, you're gonna need an organizational ability for your organization, and the individuals you have in your team, they're probably gonna develop their own specialties. If one of them develops it with auditing and understand all these elements, that's great. We encourage that, by the way. By the way, we're not saying that it needs to be GETIDA or the seller. We're saying it needs to do both. The sellers need to make sure that they get the maximum FBA reimbursements that they're eligible to get on their own. We encourage that.
yes.
And once they're done, we're able to come in and
The
whatever
next
they
step.
missed out on, yeah, whatever they missed out on, we're going to bring it back to them. And only if we're
Yeah,
successful doing it, we're going to charge our fee. So it makes it, once again, we're very customizable. It makes it kind of a win win proposition where it's together. And once again, all the money you never expected to have, we expect you to hopefully keep growing and reinvesting in your business. And that's it. That's how we'll both have a future in this business.
that's amazing. Yeah, 100%. Now, when it comes to the reimbursement, I also get sometimes this question that is they want to have an idea of how much, just a high level, how much they might be leaving behind if they don't implement anything of this.
Right.
So, do you have a rough idea of what is the percentage that you see based on your clients' overall market that you see people throwing away because they're not using a service such as GetHidden? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty. Over the years, we're able to kind of clearly see a spectrum. The spectrum is, between 1 to 3% from your annual sales, right? So if you do $1 million on Amazon FBA, 1 to 3% could be 10 to 30,000. If you're doing 10 million, it could be 100 to 300,000. On
Wow.
and on it goes. Another way to look at it is for every 100 units you ship to Amazon's fulfillment centers, between 1 to 3 units is going to experience a discrepancy throughout the life cycle of the product. Once again, there's a lot of elements. The elements mainly are it got lost, it got damaged, it got
Yeah.
destroyed, it got disposed, it got
Yeah.
disappeared, or overcharged with fees. So 1 to 3% along the life cycle. So wherever you are today
That's
with
huge.
revenue, yeah, whatever you are today with revenue, you can do that calculation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of the opportunity there.
Yeah, and that's as we discussed at the beginning, it's free cash flow you can use to hire more people, PPC, influencer marketing, which is big now. So many things. So I think it's a must, regardless what you do. For sure, it's a
No,
must.
do it. Get everything you owed, get it, and then we can come in, back you up, and get you that extra juice. And once hopefully you get that, it's very useful. Like I said, the money is very useful.
Yes.
Only lately I discovered how useful money is. Until lately, I never realized.
Yeah, I mean it's free cash. Why not? And
Yeah,
I also now know that you have a special offer for the audience, and I think that's gonna make this whole thing even more juicy and more interesting to try out and jump in. So can you briefly touch on that and how does it work? How people can find it?
you got it. You got it. So
Yeah,
yeah, in general, like I mentioned earlier, it's free to join. We only charge a fee from the recovery. We charge a 25% fee. I just want to clear on that. So
yeah,
let's say the next 30 days we got you $100. We're gonna charge
yeah.
you 25%, which will be $25. But the next 30 days we get you $0. You pay $0. So it's free to join. It's free to stay. Really, only when we make you money, you make money. So that's clear, right? But on top of that, for Ecomcy, followers and the e-commerce lab show followers, we created an offer, a $400 offer. So the first $400 we're gonna get for you in FBA reimbursements is gonna be free. We're not gonna charge you a penny. So after $400, if you want to leave us, it's fine. You can leave. If you want to stay, we can stay. But this is a guarantee. No matter what, you're gonna have $400 extra in your pocket. Yeah, so you can just visit getida.com/ecomcy, and you'll see more information about the offer there. You can be able to claim the offer. Yeah, it's just the idea is really to be helpful, to give you something you never had before, and hopefully that will keep you empowered for what's coming.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I want to thank you once again for coming to the show. All the knowledge you dropped today is very valuable. Also, the offer. I'm pretty sure a lot of people is gonna try out as soon as they hear this. So, thank you very much for that. I'm definitely looking forward to see you in person in one of the next events and in our next podcast for sure in the future. Okay.
You got it. Thank you so much, everybody. Good luck.
Okay.